Hello, this is Maureen from highpointreikiandreadings.com, and I've got my hair up today because I just wanted it up, I guess. But I have another pick an object reading for this week, and though these are boxes that hold things, it is actually simply the boxes that will be the theme. So I'm going to show you the themes, and then we'll talk about the energy of the week. So we have the Vincent van Gogh box. Someone gave this to me years ago. They had some cards that had this design on them, and they thought I would like the box. And I have used it to hold a set of my tarot cards ever since then. My very first, well, I had the Rider-Waite, and then I got this, it's a Celtic tarot deck that's very cool. And I love, but Vincent van Gogh. That is one of the things you can choose from for your guidance. And the other is Gustav Klimt. Now, this is a set of tarot cards that have his artwork on them, which is, usually gilded, and it expresses a lot of passion and other things involving humans. Whereas this one is more nature based. So those are your two selections. But first we're going to talk about the energy of the week, and I'm also going to talk about a little bonus thing I'm doing. The idea came to me while I was kind of meditating earlier this week. So anyway, we'll get to that. First, I did already tune in, and I just want to ask what the energy for the week ahead is going to be like. And in case you're wondering, I deliberately do not put dates or time frames because, as many readers do, this may not be pertinent to you right this moment. Or better to say, it may be pertinent exactly at this moment, even if I posted this 6 months ago. This energy is just coming into your life now. So, but anyway, let's see what the energy of the week feels like. It actually, for the most part, it feels very good. There's a lot of energy in the heart area, but some of this involves working out issues that are weighing on your heart. So I think there's going to be a kind of purging or communicating or, constructively working on these things that have been weighing on your heart. And what they're kind of saying is that little sparkly center of the heart area that we all have, tune into that for the best guidance on how, because for each person, it could be a different situation. It could be something huge. It could be something tiny. But that doesn't change the importance of it, number one. Number two, that sparkly center of your heart area, that's where you want to lead from when you're starting to work your way out of the situation. Build a communication channel if necessary. Build up your bravery to remove yourself, whatever the situation. But even if you're going to remove yourself from a situation, what they're saying is it's important for you to express yourself, unless danger is a factor. But if it's just you don't like the way someone is treating you and you want to get away from them because you don't see any way to change how they're treating you, first communicate with them. Say, I really don't like the way you speak to me. I really don't like the way you treat me. Whatever the situation, whatever the case, Just express that. And the reason I say this is because you're carrying it all by yourself, number one. And that's not right. This is something they're inflicting on you. You should let them know. Not only to partially relieve yourself of the burden, because once you take the energy and give it to them and say, you make me feel bad for this reason, or you make me feel useless, you make whatever the situation, it hurts my feelings when this happens. You are making them aware. Now the ball is kind of in their court, you know? Now they're sharing it with you. So they're sharing the burden. So, and number two, it's possible they had no idea, because they may be in a space where they're just so overwhelmed by life, they're not even realizing the treatment they're doling out to others. So just keep all that in mind. I think it's important for you to say why. You know, just say, you make me feel very bad when you say things like this to me, when you do things like this to me, and so I'm finding that I need a little space from you. And it's more about not carrying the burden on your own, because it's not your fault. If they're treating you that way, they should feel some of the responsibility. They may not react as if they're receiving the responsibility, but you are clearing that energy out of you, at least to some extent. So give it a shot. And maybe it will open up communication, or maybe they'll say, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm sorry, I've been so overwhelmed, whatever. But keep your wits about you. Make sure they're not using an excuse to keep you on the line, if you know what I mean. Use your discernment, and your heart space is good for that too. Yeah, you can kind of work that energy through there and see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel sincere, if it doesn't feel genuine, then yeah, might be a good idea to take that space you were talking about. So anyway, we're going to get on to the readings. So if you picked the Van Gogh pile, we'll call it the Van Gogh pile, then we'll start with you. And if you're picking Klimt, see his name is right up there. If you're picking Klimt, then you can skip with the timestamps to yours. Yours will be second. Or you can listen to all of it. It's up to you. Oh, and the thing at the end. I am going to queue up some Reiki for the people who watch the video. So if you watch it and you feel like you need a little Reiki in your life, I'm going to queue it up, which means it's kind of being held in the universe, and then you can invite that energy in by receiving it. And you just say something like, you know, find a quiet place, give yourself about 20 minutes, and then say, I would now like to receive the Reiki cued by Maureen. It's that simple. And then just kick back for 20 minutes, see what happens. You might feel warm sensations, you might see some colors. I don't actually have certainty that this is going to work, so I would love to hear feedback. If you do decide to receive the Reiki, let me know if you felt it. and you don't have to be specific or in depth. Just say something like, I received the Reiki. I just want to see. I'm not sure exactly. I think there's like a 2-day period in which cued Reiki is still going to work the way it should. But I have had cases where I've cued Reiki for clients and they received it like a week later. And and spoke of it being very pleasant and doing what they needed it to do. So, and the intention for the Reiki will be to clear out negative, stagnant energy and replace it with positive energy, positive, loving energy. So I'm going to do that at the end of my recording here, but it'll be in place by the time I get the recording up on my YouTube channel, which you should like and subscribe if you are enjoying my readings here. But we're going to get started with the card readings with the Vincent van Gogh group first. And I'll be right back. Welcome back. You'll see the angle has been adjusted. That's so you can see the cards better as I put them out. But this is for the Vincent van Gogh group. If you chose this as your object this week, this is your reading. And I have my handy high point haiku cards. I love alliteration, so I don't know that that's going to be the permanent name, but we'll go with that for now. The high point haiku cards, because that's basically what it is. Okay, so what does the Van Gogh group need to know for the coming week? And we're going to do 3 cards. There's one. That's funny. This is actually not a haiku, so maybe I shouldn't call them haiku cards. This is it's a little poem I wrote a long time ago that I just think is pretty cute. I like the energy of it, so I wanted to include it in my deck. What else do they need to know? I need 2 more cards. There's one. Is that just one? Ah, yes. That's a fun one. That's a red-winged blackbird, by the way, if anybody's interested in what's actually on the card. In the picture, I may not know every single card 100%, but most of the birds I will know, because I am a bird lover. Whenever I see an interesting one, I always, Google it. All right, one more. Ah, there we go. Oh, I've seen this one before if you've been watching along, but we'll see how these all converge into their message. So, for the Van Gogh people, oh, heavens. Oh, cards. Thank you. So this one says, your smile is in a dialect that only you've created, but luckily it is a phrase that's easily translated. I love that poem because smiles are universal. They are. And you don't have to know any foreign languages to convey what a smile contains. A welcoming, a loving, a positive energy. This one says, the song that you sing may not fully resonate to all who hear it. And then this one says, when you feel too small to accomplish any change, promise arises. Okay, so I kind of think these two really go together. Because maybe you're feeling a little like isolated, maybe you're feeling like you're not fitting in with people, and maybe you're feeling like that's making you feel insignificant or useless or something like that, or just like a bit of an outcast. So this is A saying, hey, not everyone's gonna love you. That's just a fact. That's just how life works, Even if you're the nicest, sweetest person, most generous person on the face of the earth, someone might still not like you. And, that's kind of on them though, right? And then when you feel too small to accomplish any change, promise arises. I feel like this one is twofold because it also feels like, you don't know how to fit in with these people, and maybe you've been trying really hard to fit in with them, and you've been trying to figure out their patterns, and you've been trying to figure out like what they're into. Maybe you even did a little research on what that was to see if you could get into it too, because you're looking to make some friends or at least make some bonds with people. Maybe it's like work people that you have to deal with them every day, so you kind of just, you want a good vibe when you're there at work, right? So but what I think is actually happening is that you're trying too hard, and therefore you're creating barriers that you don't realize you're creating. Does that make sense? So it's like, okay, I got to do this, but I can't do that. And then you've kind of worked yourself up into a place of overwhelm. And this card is kind of like F it energy. It's like, you are who you are. Just, be yourself, be completely and entirely yourself. And, you'll figure out who you connect with and who you don't. It's, but don't worry about it. When you stop worrying about it, when you stop feeling like when you stop feeling like you need to fulfill a certain set of rules or a certain role or whatever just to be accepted, that's most likely when those things that are extra awesome and special about you kind of pour out. And then, that's when people tend to be like, oh, this is who they are. That's kind of awesome. Maybe not every time, but most of the time. When you abandon the need to fit in, when you're more yourself, when you're more free flowing, when you're more sparkly, because that's when all the little special sparkly things about you tend to come out, when you just don't care anymore. I don't mean that in a negative way, like you've given up on life. I just mean like, what am I trying to impress these people for anyway? Like, I am who I am. If they don't like me, that's their problem. What is that one quote? I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt that said, what other people think of me is none of my business. And then, of course, RuPaul says, if they're not paying your bills, then don't pay them mind. Don't pay them no mind. So, there's a lot of people out there that have learned to navigate the world without, changing themselves into something they're not just to be accepted. So your smile is in a dialect that only you've created, but luckily it is a phrase that's easily translated. So I think this is talking about that sparkle too. I know it talks about a smile, but it's talking about that element of you that comes through, when you're not preoccupied, when you're not stressed out, when you're not anxious. And when you just say, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to be me, and whoever wants to come be in my vibe with me, awesome. And if they don't, that's fine too, So, but yeah, that's what I think those mean, but we're going to see. I mean, this guy, the reason I love this picture is he's like a rock star, He's just like, he's doing his little rock music scream from the way the picture looks. And he is just living his best life, and he doesn't care what you think of him. He is who he is. He does what he does, and that's just the way it is. And you can get on board or get out of the way, So let's clarify that one, though. So dig for the root. So what I think this is saying here is like, why do you care? Why? Why does it concern you what other people think of you? Why does it concern you Why do you have this need to fit in? Why do you have this need to, what if the energy in where you work has been stale and boring for years, and you coming in with your awesome self just shakes everything up in the best possible way? And what if you're muting that? I don't know about you, but I've worked in a few offices, and there's always that one person that like looks down their nose at people. They're just waiting to say something to somebody about something. Like, it's almost like their whole existence hinges on that, And they're usually a bit of a tattletale too. But, don't worry about that person. I mean, you might shake things up so much that they stop being that person. Because you bring a whole new breath of fresh air and excitement that they didn't expect. Aha, see? So this is a great card for the Promise Arises. Sorry, I usually do these one at a time, don't I? So when you feel like you're not going to be able to make any difference, Promise Arises. Because when you're being your true and authentic self, you are putting out those energetic vibes that are solely yours. And whoever finds resonance in that is going to be, they're going to be your buddies. They're going to be your friends. They're going to be your support system, whatever. Like all your friends, all your family that you're very close to. Anybody that you're close to, it's because you have resonance with each other. Your minds, your hearts, your sense of humor, your perspective of the world, they may not be exactly the same, but they're close enough that, you don't have to worry about what you say or what you do when you're with them, And because of this resonance, this like energy you share in common, it's like, yeah, we're on this wavelength together, So if you stop worrying about what people think about you and even dig into why you were even worried about that in the first place, and then you just let yourself be yourself, when you feel too small to accomplish any change, Promise Arises. You may shake things up in a crazy way, but you may not. But as long as you find that place where you're comfortable and you're happy and you don't have to worry about who you are and what you're doing, because nobody should have to worry about that. Because you are who you are. Love it or leave it, Oh, okay, I just had like many cards fall out. But we just need one. So I'm going to take the one that fell far away. So I think my guides really want me to sing sometime soon. So in the Smile poem, I got the Call Forth a Song card. So before I have a song come through, I want to encourage you to also, because you're gonna get a song that's more personal to you. But I'm gonna see what comes through for me, and I'll share it with you. Interesting. I'm not sure how this... I'm not even sure who sings this song. It's like a weird 80s kind of obscure song. It's definitely a romantic song. But it's like, I need you now, more than words can say, I need you now. And that's all I can remember from it. But that's what's coming through. So, okay. So it's almost like when you mute yourself, you're depriving not just yourself and the people around you, but the whole entire universe from your magic. You're like holding that back. And we all need your magic. Even if we never meet you, even if we never ever even interact with you in any way, Your magic is adding something to this wonderful wavelength we're all on together. There's a big universal thing happening with all the humans. And if you don't add that magical, sparkly energy that's within you, you're kind of depriving the rest of us. So please, on behalf of everyone, please let your sparkly, magical self out to play. And don't worry about what other people think about it. And think about this. If you're feeling kind of lonely and withdrawn, the easiest way to find the people that will make you not feel that way anymore is to be your authentic self. Because then you're going to find the people who are like you. When you do something wild or wacky or something like that, and someone else is like, hey, that's hilarious, or, I love that you just did that, that's one of your people. Go talk to them. Talk to them more, because that's one of your people. So anyway, that's it for the Van Gogh group, and we're going to move on to the Klimt group now. So I'm just going to pause it while I switcheroo. Here we go. This is the Klimt group. This is so beautiful, isn't it? There's so many wonderful pieces of art by Klimt there. The whole deck is full of not just artworks, but I think interpretations of artworks. But, anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for, if you picked this pile, I'm afraid to show this other side because there's nudity on it. That's also why I don't use my Celtic tarot usually in readings on video that are on YouTube, because those also have nudity on them. They're really awesome, but I don't really know what's allowed. So, anywho, let's see what the Klimt group needs to know. And for some reason, when I was picking my objects, I felt like this group might get a little bit of a love message. So I don't know if this will pertain to your current love life or... Well, anytime I do anything, I always bring it back to the person that I am reading for. I don't claim to know what's going on in, your partner's head, because I am not there to read them. I am there to read you. And they did not give me their permission, so I have no business digging into their heads anyway. I love this card. A curious peak, suspicious squirrel, angles. I can't read it. For tales unfolding. I just thought the squirrel peeking out from behind the tree like that was just hilarious. Okay. And then this one, which I think we've seen before. If you have methods that differ from the others, be grateful for it. And then we're going to get one more card. Just one more. Okay. Oh. A foggy morning. Hold on. A foggy morning allows your awakening to choose its own pace. Okay. So let me take a good look at these vibes. So there's some valuable information coming to you, and you're going to come across it through complete happenstance. You're going to be in the right place at the right time. You're going to hear the right conversation. You're going to see the right interaction between two people. So some information is going to come through. So just keep your eyes and ears open, because some information is coming to you. Okay? So be aware of that. If you have methods that differ from the others, be grateful for it. So it's possible that whatever this is will hurt your feelings. And, I think what this card is saying is like, really? It's better that you know what those people really think of you. It's better to know than to be deceived, right? And I'm getting now that that's why it's happening, because there's been this kind of secret or a deception going on, and you're finally going to learn about it. I don't feel like this is going to relate exactly to you for everyone. I feel like some it will relate to you, and some it will relate to someone you know. And then you're going to have to figure out, you're going to struggle a bit with, I think you're definitely going to want to tell them because it's somebody that you would feel inclined to tell. But I also think that you're going to have to figure out how. So a foggy morning allows your awakening to choose its own pace. So this is, okay. So what came through when I just read this is whatever this is that you find out, you have time. However you find out, they're not going to know you found out. So you have time to think about, and I think that actually is part of the message here too. You have time to think about, like, how do I want to deal with this? I wouldn't go for revenge or anything like that, but I would call people out if there's something, shady going on. If there's a deception or some secret that's being kept from you that would actually be very important for you to know. So, but I think you're going to have time here. I think that's what this card is saying. Like, you're going to hear something sheerly by chance, and then you're going to have to figure out how to deal with it, but you have a little time to figure out how to deal with it. And also be thankful that you found out. It might hurt your feelings, and you shouldn't deny whatever feelings you experience from that, but don't stay in that sad place too long, because it's better that you know. It's better that you found out, because you could have been in store for even more hurt. I feel like you're finding out at the exact right time where you can still do what you need to do to resolve the situation without complete devastation for yourself. I hate to sound so negative. It may not even be that big of a deal, but it's just so let's clarify this card. But it's just it's better to know things like that. Nobody likes to be deceived. Nobody likes secrets kept from them. See? Find the lesson. Find the lesson. So you're finding this out for a reason. And I feel like for some of you, you've been doing a lot of work on yourself. And when you hear whatever this is, your first instinct is going to be like, I'm going to go slash their tires on their car. But you've grown beyond that. This is your chance to say, hey, you know what? I don't do stuff like that anymore, because it just creates way more trouble for me than anybody else, especially with people find out. But so I think that's what find the lesson means. It's like, okay, I'm finding this out for a reason, so I need to really think about, how I've grown. I feel like there's some growth that's happened with you over the past few months or maybe even years. And the way you would have acted about this back then is not the way you're going to act about it now. And you need to find however you now, it's like you recently became this more aligned person. And this is almost like a test. I'm not saying the universe is testing you, but it's more like, you know, like I said, maybe 6 months ago or a year ago or 5 years ago, you would have slashed your tires. But that's not who you are anymore. So now you got to figure out how you now would deal with this situation, because it's different than how it used to be. That's what I'm getting from that message. Embrace the growth you've achieved. If you act with that growth in the mix, it's all going to come out way better than if you revert back to 6 months ago, or 6 years ago, where you would have smashed their windshield. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up. Some growth has happened with you, so embrace that growth and use that new wisdom and growth that you've achieved to navigate the situation. And I swear, I did not know that card was going to come out. But if you have methods that differ from the others, be grateful for it. Navigation. I think this ties into what I was saying about the last grouping of cards, It's figure out where you are now and then navigate from that point. Find the "you are here" mark on the map before you proceed with how you're going to deal with whatever this situation is, okay? Make sure you know where you are before you set out to deal with the situation however you're choosing to deal with it, okay? This is one of my better artworks of these cards. I know that's not saying much, but yeah, just before you do anything, check in with yourself. Say, how does this really make me feel? How do I really want to proceed with dealing with this? Not what me would have done 3 months ago. What me today wants to do. Okay, so let's clarify here. Like, don't throw away all the progress you made just to do something petty to people, Because what do they say? The best revenge is a life well lived. You can do things like smash windshields and pop tires and stuff, but what's really going to make them mad is when you move on from the situation and you are happy and fulfilled, and just every day is something you look forward to, and you're just able to be completely yourself. You don't have to adjust who you are. You don't have to fit a mold that somebody else has tried to make for you. Don't do that anyway. But and then when they see like how happy you are, how fulfilled you are, haha. And it's really not even a haha situation. It's a chance for you to look back in gratitude and be like, boy, I'm glad I got away from that. See, your card just fell on the ground in some unknown place. Where have you gone, card? Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh. Not only is this one of my favorite cards, and I actually didn't make this right, but it still gets the point across. Favorite shirt. So this just punctuates what I was just saying. Favorite shirt is about, like, that one outfit. Okay, so I have this crazy Halloween jacket. I don't even know if I have a picture of myself in it, but it's like my favoriteest piece of clothing I own. And when I wear it, I just feel awesome. And like, nobody could say, if someone came up and said, that is the ugliest jacket I've ever seen, I'd be like, I don't care. I love it. So pick what you want. And, you know, it's not always easy to have that kind of confidence, but that's what this card is about. It's about like you just feel so good that nobody can bring you down. And that ties into exactly what I was saying. Like make sure you navigate from where you are now, because if you do that and you consider your move and you use your wisdom and everything you've learned and all the growth you've achieved, then you're gonna get this result. You're gonna be like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care what they think. I'm glad they're gone, and I'm gonna go be the most wonderful, fabulous, authentic, amazing version of myself they've ever seen. And 6 months from now, they're gonna be crying themselves to sleep that they didn't step up to be the person I needed them to be. That that is the message. So anyway, uh, again, I have queued up that Reiki. By the time you watch this, it will be queued up, and you just have to say, I would like to. I am now receiving the Reiki queued by Maureen, and it should come to you. But I also want to hear if you received it, and you know, you don't have to tell me every single detail. You can if you want to, but really, I'm not 100% sure whether that works. I think it will. I honestly do. That's my honest opinion. I just, every once in a while we need a little confirmation, right? So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the information you received this week, and I hope you join me again next week. And you can like and subscribe so you know when they're going up. I usually post it on my Instagram too, which is at High Point Reiki. And you'll have pictures of the things you can choose from. But so you can follow me there too if you want. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you next time. Bye.